I'm Janet Richmond, and this is the Higher Self Voice. Well, good morning, viewers. At least it's morning here at the studio. It's 11 o'clock Pacific time. I hope I have some viewers from around the world enjoying the show. I'm Janet Richmond, and this is the Higher Self Voice. Now, every week I'm coming on and introducing you to various people, guests from all walks of life, to show you a technique, show you some tools, share with you what I have been working to share for, I guess, 8 or 9 years now. This is material to really help yourselves. Don't we all have goals? We all have dreams. We all have things we want to bring into a state of balance. We have things that we want to heal. We have things that we really want to reach. We want to develop who we are. We want to discover our gifts and talents. We want to develop them. We have aims. We have goals. We have things we want to do. And many of us have laundry lists. Well, the techniques that I teach are very easy, the tools. They're to really help all of us to find our way, to accelerate our unfoldment, so to speak. I have a lot of information out there. I have 2 books. If you've noticed, I have 2 books here. Choices, Neutralizing Your Negative Thoughts and Emotional Blueprints, and Soul Psychology, Our Journey Through the Human Kingdom Universe. I give out information. I have a weekly web radio show every Wednesday, and I've been doing it for 6 years. And I give out a ton of information, and it's all archived on my website, again, higherselfvoice.com. So I do this show in an experiential way. I bring people from all walks of life, as I said, and I have a guest today, Millie, and I'll introduce you to her in just a minute. I want you to see that anybody and everybody comes well equipped to help themselves. Anybody and everybody. You can heal yourself, you can work to expand and develop yourself, open doors, increase your possibilities, bring balance and harmony and hope into your life. It is amazing work, and so I have a guest each week so that you can see and experience a healing, an expansion, whatever you want to call it. I want you to see that you can do it too, so that when I'm working on Millie, and I'll be talking with her in just a minute, and we'll get to know her. When I do the session on her, it'll be shortish, 10 or 15 minutes, but you can follow along and do the same for yourselves. This is really important. Even though Millie will have her own particular bent, her own particular issues that might come up in her life, the details may not look like your life, but underneath, we're all part of the human condition. We all carry very similar issues, very similar underlying fears or worries or concerns or doubts or misunderstandings or patterns or soul scrambles, whatever you want to call them. We all carry those. And so when I'm working on Millie or any of my guests, you also can follow along and work on yourselves. You can be your own directing identity. You can take charge, be responsible for your life, and really help yourself. That was one of the reasons I wanted this show to be experiential. I do have information out there everywhere, as I said. So right now, I'm gonna introduce you to Millie Winther. Hello, Millie.
Hello.
Millie is a school teacher, or was. Excuse me, Millie. She is now retired.
Okay.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Now, I know Millie from my meetup group. Her daughter was on the show 2 weeks ago, Ro Winther. So we have a mother and a daughter, and I thought it was perfect for you all to understand that anybody can do this for themselves. And I met Millie through my meetup group. I think she and her daughter have been there for about a year, would it be?
Probably.
About a year.
At least.
Now, tell me, how did you discover the meetup group? Why don't you share with the viewers?
Well, it so happened that my daughter actually was invited to go to your meetup group, one of your meetup groups. And while there, my daughter realized that you had a book that she thought her mother really would want. So she bought the book
Okay.
and gave it to me,
Okay.
and I read it. And I said, I'm going to the next meeting.
Oh.
And she said, why? I said, that is quite a woman.
Oh, well. You heard it here, viewers, from Millie. The book is it was choices.
Choices first.
Choices. She read choices
Mhm.
first. Okay. So Millie and Ro came to the meetup, and they've become part of the meetup community that I've established. It's just like a family. It's wonderful. We get new people in on a regular basis, and some of the new people continue. Some come in and out. It's just everybody is different. There's no pressure, but it's really developing into a community, and I'm really happy. But what specifically was it about the book or about the meetup that you... No, wait, before we talk about that, you have a long history of spiritual
Mm.
exploration, so to speak, don't you? Can
Mhm.
you share with the viewers a little bit about that?
Well, I was raised in a family that always taught us, family of 8, and my mom and dad always taught us that you are responsible for yourself, and they say you come into this world and you have to make your world. I thought that was rather strange, but that's what we always followed. And as time went on, I started to study a lot of the books and in the New Age sections and all that. And then I started taking courses
Okay.
and studying the body, mind, and soul and everything, and learned a lot of things. And for many, many years, I took courses or attended seminars, but I didn't have what I call the answer to what I was looking for until I got involved with your meetup group.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so I studied under many people, but I found out that in order to know what's good for me, I have to find what I call my authentic self, or the true me.
Okay.
And that's why, and then, so as time went on, and after reading your book, and then reading your second book, I thought, well, now I'm going to get back into really finding myself and creating myself,
Well,
a new me.
I like that. I like that. Yes, because this work really does help us discover who we
Right.
are, and also to be able to tap into the totality, the unlimited part of ourselves.
That's right.
And so I think it's a good goal. It's a wonderful goal. Now, you not only are empty nest, so to speak, you're retired,
Mhm.
and I understand that you also lost your husband, that you're a widow. Is
Mm.
that correct?
Yes.
And so that must open up some space for you in a way. You're not raising kids, you're not doing a career, you're not taking care of a husband or having a couple situation. Is that correct?
That's correct. And because of it, there was a loneliness. I've had a loneliness all my life, even in groups and even being a mother and a wife and so on, and having all kinds of friends. But even throughout my life, I've always felt that there's something missing.
Okay.
And the missing something was not taking care of myself inside.
Interesting. Yeah.
Always wanting to help my daughters, my husband, my friends, my students, and so on. And I never left time for myself except when I took these little seminars or different things.
Right.
But in order to take anything, you have to focus on it and put it to practice.
It's the practice you didn't have
Right.
the time for
Right.
before. Yeah.
Right.
Because we can take in information a lot. It's out there everywhere, which is great. You know, we have access to whatever we want to know. But it isn't just about that. It's actually following through and using the tools or the techniques or doing the practice, whatever it is you're working with. Yeah.
And of course now, since I've been widowed and stuff, I do have time, but my husband passed away 5 years ago. But it seemed like yesterday because we were married a long time and had a good time. And it was a time in my life that I wanted to have fun. and then he passed away. And I was very angry about it. I,
I can
and-
understand
yeah,
that. I can understand.
because it was sudden. But as it turned out, after a while, I decided enough's enough. I quit feeling sorry for myself. And I realized that I made the choice, that everything in life is by my choice, not by anybody else's.
Yes.
And how I respond to life is purely my way.
Well,
And-
I just have to cut in here for a minute
Okay.
because that is such a great understanding. It brings up, people are probably listening and saying, wait a minute, was it her choice that her husband died? Or was it her choice that whatever happens? And I want to just say that choices are made, those kind of choices are made at the soul level. And
Yes.
you didn't force your husband to choose death, but you're in co-creation. So he has his death based on his own choices, and it's co-created and understood between the two of you at the soul level. It's not the mind level choice.
Yes.
And I wanted to really clear that up because people understand self-responsibility up to a point usually when the conscious choice is involved. But if they're sitting on the street at a light and some truck rams them from behind, they think, how could that be my choice? I'm sitting here obeying the light. And so the reason why this is important right now to understand that it's a soul level choice, that if something happens to you, it is the soul basically giving you an opportunity to look within. Why would I have chosen that at the soul level is basically the question to ask. Why would have I chosen that? And so you have basically looked at your life and you see that you've made these choices and now it's an opportunity. Am I?
That's correct.
Okay, so go ahead,
Yeah.
explain a little bit more.
What I thought, I realized that we come into this world, if you believe in reincarnation or whatever, I sort of think that that's the answer. But I feel that on a soul level, I came into this earth and I had sort of a contract with myself as to what I would accomplish here, not only for myself, but for the earth and people around me, how I would serve, so that we could always become more positive and have a wonderful life, because I feel that everybody here, they are as perfect as they come into the world because we all come from the same place. And so after losing my husband and all this, I had to rethink what I really believed in all these years. And I found that I do have some kind of a contract with my soul has a contract, but I was thinking, well, I've accomplished certain things, but now, at my age, where am I at? What's ahead of me? How do I serve not only myself or respect myself, but respect others and help others accomplish things and do something of service to the community or to the planet, whatever.
Well, what I love is that it's never too, you really are a perfect illustration that it's never too late to begin to look at that, to understand that you have a contract with yourself and this is something you really want to develop. My mother went through huge changes when she was in her 90s. And one of the things she told me to say at her memorial service, and this, I think I said this in the book, although I don't know if I did, was tell people it's never too late.
Yeah.
Even though I was very disabled, I was unable, I didn't have my full mental facilities, I wasn't able to, sorry, but my hair keeps blowing. I want everyone to know, this is the message she told me after she
Yeah.
laid aside the bottom, I want everyone to know it's never too late. And so you're a good example, living example right here, that you have still more learning and growing to do. You aren't just going to sit back and say, oh, I'm going to eat bonbons in front of the television.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're seeing the opportunity. You took yourself out of being stuck. You said, okay, I'm responsible for how I react to the situation when my husband died. I don't need to feel sorry for myself anymore. And you pulled yourself out of it. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah.
It is. It's really great. And it's a good inspiration for the viewers.
Well, actually, when you sit and I call it analyzing myself, I don't know. When I sit down, sometimes I get certain feelings. And sometimes I get this gut feeling. I might be thinking about doing something or writing something or that. And I get this gut feeling. It's that iffy thing. And I thought, well, I don't like that iffy. So even though people say follow your gut feeling, I thought that is probably not right. But how about the heart feeling? When you feel this warmth in your sort of your heart area, and it's sort of heartfelt. When I have that feeling, I know that whatever choice I make is going to be right.
I like that. I really like it.
So that's what I learned in my old age.
Well, I do also feel that we have to be careful of the gut feeling, because often the gut feeling comes from patterns that we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gut feeling that, oh, that looks interesting, and then it gets you into the same amount of trouble that you got into for the last time you had the same gut feeling, and you just keep repeating the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the idea of following the heartfelt feeling. I really like that.
Oh, thank you.
Now, people use terms and use words to describe different things. So a lot of people might use the idea or the term gut feeling, meaning it's heartfelt.
Yeah.
So it absolutely could be, everybody uses it from, approaches it a little bit differently or views it a little bit differently. But I think sometimes we have to be careful about a gut feeling, because we can just repeat something that isn't really working for us just because it's normal and natural. Oh, this feels good. Well, it feels good because you've done it for a long time, and yet you really aren't happy with that pattern.
Or
So-
perhaps we all have different responses in different parts of our body. Like I'm extremely sensitive. I could sit and listen to a song that I've heard for 100 times, and I could cry.
Yeah.
Or I could watch something on America's Got Talent or something, and I see a little kid just singing away. And so I respond with tears, and extremely sensitive to that.
Yes.
Now, my husband, who is very male-like, he was extremely sensitive to certain songs too.
Nice.
And he would cry. And now my daughter, she does the same thing. So how you respond, sometimes you're crying, but it's a good feeling.
Right.
And so most of my crying now is
a good feeling.
a good feeling.
Okay, so it feels like in a lot of ways your life post-retirement and as a widow is really moved you to a place where you're beginning to focus more on yourself
Absolutely.
and not on externals. Not that it's not the either or, that you only want to focus on yourself and
Right.
be, some sort of self-involved kind of person. But you want to get that self-focus, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, so that you can bring more of yourself to the outer world, share yourself in some way. I think that's a very good approach. I think it's really an important approach, because the more we have our lives in balance, the more effective we are. If we're sacrificing ourselves and we're leaving ourselves behind in whatever way, we can hit a wall, we can get overtired, we can be stressed. We are only giving or helping perhaps in a superficial way, just going through the motions, and it isn't heartfelt because we're disconnected from ourselves and
Absolutely.
who we are. So, okay, so this leads me into, what would you like me to work on today?
Okay. I would like to have a quick and easy way of getting within, so I could go to my authentic self, where everything is there for you and all my answers. So at least if I could find a way in like you do, that probably is my goal, where I could get my own answers, so to
Yes.
speak. And like I said, some feelings give you answers in that. But I would like to have the ability to go into where I'm meeting with my higher self, or the or originating source of everything,
Okay.
because it's there for everybody, and
It-
we're
it
all
is.
equal that way.
We're all equal that way. We all have that
I
ability.
want to tap.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you, first I'm just going to explain simply how it works.
Okay.
And I want you to understand, though, that like anything, it does require some practice. It's one of those things where you can hear the technique, I can explain it to you,
Mhm.
but you have to work with it so that, as you know, it's not just about reading a book. You have to utilize the material in the book, if it's that kind of book, obviously, if it's giving you. So, okay, so the very simple way is to focus the attention on that pure soul essence. Now, for those of you who may be new to the show, it's not about the term, but the term represents the part of all souls, from the lowliest grain of sand to the highest, most evolved being, that carry the light of the originating source, the totality, everything that originating source was, is, and is becoming. Because each and every soul carries that. We're connected 24/7 from the moment in time we were first expressed as minerals throughout our entire journey. So this light, this pure soul essence light, this, some people call it the God within, or the light within, or the spirit within. Again, it's not about the term. It's about what it is. And this is our purest, most perfect, most potent personal power. And everybody has it. And a long part of the journey in the human kingdom is literally just to become aware that we have it, then aware of how to use it, and then to actually use it. I call the
Right.
pure soul essence the Panama Canal of self-help.
Wow.
Yeah. Panama Canal, before it was built, if you wanted to ship a bunch of stuff from Europe to California, you had to go around the tip of South America. It was a huge journey. When they put in the Panama Canal, you could go right through the Panama Canal from Europe to California. You cut out that in double, at least 50, maybe 60, 70% of the journey you cut out around the South America. You still have a journey, though. And the pure soul essence, by focusing and utilizing that pure soul essence and practicing with it, it is the shortcut to self-help, to any kind of expansion, to healing, to balancing, to growing, to becoming, to connecting with. When the originating source energy comes in, whether you're meditating, whether you're calling on it as a prayer, or you're just focusing on it for whatever reason, it comes in, but it's very impersonal. When it comes in, it hits us all at the energetic level. It's impersonal, and it uses the energetics that we carry, that energetic baggage, the thought forms, the habit imprints, the emotional blueprints. And you viewers who don't know what it is, you should try my book, Choices, because it really explains it. But in any case, most of you would be aware that we carry energy at, our beingness doesn't end at the skin. We carry energy all around us that we've created. Every thought we've ever thought, every action we've ever made, every emotion we've ever had is carried into those energetic bodies, and they come with us. Now, when we utilize the originating source energy, it gathers, it's reflected from the energetic body. So that's why our outer reality looks exactly like what we're carrying at the inside. Our belief systems, our patterns, our issues, our fears, everything that we carry in these etheric bodies gets picked up and utilized. It's like the fuel. And so what we manifest when we are calling in that energy is from the etheric bodies. And we have a lot of flotsam and jetsam in there. There's a lot of junk, a lot of negative stuff, a lot of misunderstandings and fears and wounds and everything. When you become one with the pure soul essence and then call in the energy, it bypasses that.
Yeah.
And you're creating from that pure place. So you can use that energy to neutralize, to dissolve problems, issues. And you can also expand on what you want to become more of. So you use the Pure Soul Essence for both sides of the coin.
Good, because that's what I want you to do for me.
Okay. I didn't mean to go on a big, long
I know.
explanation,
No,
but,
but that's okay.
did you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know. I call it the shortcut.
It is a shortcut.
Yeah, and what I'd want, because I'm in a new phase in my life, and I want to leave this earth doing some good service before I leave. So I would like you to go, take me within, and then sort of see if you get any answers as to what my contract was for the rest of my life. I don't. You may or may not.
Well, I doubt I'm going to get that kind of answer.
They won't let you.
First of all, they want us to, part of the journey is to do it for ourselves. If you have the
dear.
question, you have the
Yeah,
answer. They
okay.
want you to use that need to find answers as a motivator
Okay.
to go within and do that practice. And you're very sensitive, Millie. I know that from the time I've known you. You're going to feel and understand a lot more than you think when you start to use the Pure Soul Essence.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't have that much time.
Okay.
So I'm going to just, instead of digging to find any problems about going within, I'm going to help you with this exercise and
Okay.
all the viewers too, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I recommend that you and the viewers, that you shut your eyes, because we use the focus of attention. It's very important. It's the turn on switch. All right, so right now I want you to just take a couple of 3, 4 deep breaths and quiet your mind. And I want you to understand that the first focus of attention is, the main one is on this Pure Soul Essence. And I always suggest using a symbol. We come from the 5 senses kingdom here in the human realm, and we're much more used to being able to focus on something rather than just sort of etheric general energy. So I suggest that we use the sun as a symbol for the Pure Soul Essence within. So I'm encouraging you to think about this sun, and it's very powerful in its own right. It helps connect us to the power of our Pure Soul Essence, which again is our purest, most perfect, most potent personal power. So I want you to see and feel that Pure Soul Essence. And I want you to just expand it. Either imagine it, you can feel it pulsing out like the beat of a heartbeat, or you can just feel it or sense it or say the words, I am expanding my Pure Soul Essence. And we're going to watch that brilliant, brilliant, brilliant light fill the physical body, or intuit that it's filling the sense of the physical body, and then that it continues past the body and completely engulfs and encompasses and becomes one with the totality of all your etheric bodies, and continues to become one with the totality of your soul. So it's moving to bring you into a state of amalgamation with that purity you carry within, with that the essence of originating source, everything it was, is, and is becoming. It's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of focus. We don't need to believe it exists. We simply need to not disbelieve, that we stand in the center of neutrality and focus our thought right on the Pure Soul Essence. That focused thought is our permission. You're giving permission, Millie, to your Pure Soul Essence to become one with who you are. This is a state of amalgamation. That's the word I use. But it's, again, just merging or becoming one with. You can even say to yourself, I am my Pure Soul Essence. And now, do you feel, Millie, do you feel the sense, by any chance, the sense of this oneness with this powerful, powerful light that you carry? I'm asking you.
I sort of feel sort of a vibration through me.
Okay. Well, now what I want you to do is I want you to envision kind of a pocket in front of you, just a big pocket within your light. It's part of your light, but just I'm having you imagine it because this pocket is where you're going to symbolically put what it is you want to work on. Now for you want to work on your connection to this light. You want to feel one with it. You want to feel connected to the totality of who you are. At least I'm putting words around what you said. But if you put the state of connection, that you want to be that authentic self that you mentioned earlier, I want you to put in, right in the pocket, so to speak, in front of you, this authentic self. Now you can use a symbol for this too. I don't know what it would be, so I don't have something to suggest, which I wish I had. But you can just see yourself as however you want to imagine yourself, and you want to begin to connect that self to the totality of who you are. And so I would suggest that you simply engulf it, encase it in the light. The light will begin to dissolve the parts that you carry that are either confused or that you don't know how to do it. Maybe you feel like you are not capable, you're inept, you have doubts, maybe you feel you don't deserve it, maybe you feel, well, I've never done this before, is it even possible? There could be million known and unknown reasons why it feels difficult to connect within, and all of those, that symbol, that you standing in the middle of your light, is carrying all of that, and I want you to just begin to move the light to surround it, to encompass it, to neutralize and dissolve all of the known and unknown thoughts, habits, emotions. Okay. All right, you're doing a good job. I'm seeing it starting to dissolve. And in a way, this is what's been holding you from connecting with it. Now, I do want you to understand that in the journey you've had over eons of time, you have taken up a lot of teachings that don't encompass this concept. This concept is relatively new in the sense that many of the societies, many of the cultures you've been in that we've all been in, were more like Dark Ages and Middle Ages, where the spiritual teachings were much more limited. You have to think of, even on this planet, we didn't have psychology until 150 years ago. All of us take psychological ideas as, a given now because it's so much a part of the general culture out there. But the idea that you can actually go within and utilize and find this part of you and utilize it is new. And so what's coming up for me is is not a resistance, it's the belief systems that the answer is external to you. That there's a belief system here that it's outside you that carries the wisdom, whether it's a God outside or maybe spiritual authorities, maybe someone like me, anybody that you've learned from in your journey. There's this feeling that you don't really have the answers. There's this belief system that's been picked up over eons of lifetimes and reinforced in various ways. Literally from the moment we're born, we're helpless. It is the parents, the authority of the parents that run our lives. So we have that tendency from the get-go in every life to feel like the external authorities are right, are the ones that we need to listen to, et cetera, et cetera. So there is this part of you that I'm really sensing here, and I want you to I want to activate and call in all of your expanded perceptions, your expanded understanding, your clarity of vision, so to speak. And I want the light to just start to dissolve the misunderstandings, the misconceptions, and the misinterpretations about external authorities, because we're our own best authority, always, because we carry this pure soul essence. And this is an important pattern for all of us, all of the viewers, and it comes up over and over again for me in various ways and various sessions that I do, because it's such a part of the common human condition to pay attention to outside authorities more than to that sensitivity, that sense, that heartfelt knowing that you have. And so I want you to continue to send the light, and it's really helping. I see this symbolic form of you really getting small. It means you're really dealing with it, and I'm going to call in divine connection to help you connect with that inner voice, that inner knowing, that inner wisdom. We are all connected 24/7 to the originating source, and we have every answer inside. It doesn't mean that you can't go to an external authority and ask questions. What it is important is that you then process what you're learning through your own pure soul essence, understanding as best you can what exactly, how you feel about it. We might read something on the internet. We don't just take everything we read hook, line, and sinker. We actually use some discernment. We actually pay attention and see, does it make sense or not, or does it make sense for us? And that's where the utilizing the pure soul essence comes in handy. You hear something out there, you think, oh, there seems to be an element there that draws me in, but there are other things that don't feel quite right. Go into your pure soul essence and put that knowledge in there and process the knowledge through the pure soul essence. If you use this on a daily basis, and it doesn't mean you go off and sit for a half hour to use it, you can literally use it when you're standing in the grocery line or in the post office, when you're taking a shower, when you're washing dishes, when you are taking a walk, when you're driving a car. There's so many times you can use it, which is just a minute here or 3 minutes there. If you have time to do a little bit more, do a little bit more. I walk almost every day, quite a bit. I do go to the gym, so I use it when I'm in the elliptical. I use it when I walk, and I get information a lot when I walk because I'm out for, half an hour, sometimes more. And so I'm really focusing on it for a good amount of time. But I do use it when I'm literally walking across the living room floor to go open the windows or shut the windows. I'm just doing some mindless activity, and I focus on the pure soul essence. And the more we do it, the more we do it. Okay, so all right, so now we worked on the part of you that was making it more difficult, so to speak, for you to tune in. So now what I want you to do is I want you to literally walk into the bubble in front of you. So you're sort of separating yourself. It's a ridiculous image, but just see yourself as a person of light walking right into the, okay, all right, the higher selves are indicating they want you to imagine that what you're walking into is the vibratory frequency of music. You already talked about music, you can cry to various songs, and I want you to envision or feel, and you can use this as a symbol for your pure soul essence. You can envision the pure soul essence as music. Now, of course, it carries music. It is absolutely part of all of our pure soul essence. Everything that originating source was, is, and is becoming, and since we're all expressions of originating source, of course, there's music there. And I want you to move in there, and I want you to begin to feel the vibrations of the music. I feel bass, I feel beautiful melody in here. I don't get a tune in my head, but I feel almost like it's orchestrating. There's an orchestra in here, and I want you to just see if you can sense or feel those vibrations, that music. And as the music moves in through and around you, it's going to jiggle loose, it's going to activate and trigger the release of things that you're carrying that are you don't need anymore. It's part of the baggage that we carry that's you're ready to release. And I just feel like it's sort of jiggling it out, moving it out, and just continuing to get more and more beautiful, more and more intense, because as things get jiggled out, they move into the light, they're dissolved, and your own field is getting at higher and higher vibration, higher and higher clarity. It's as we remove and neutralize and dissolve what stuff we're carrying. And I just see you letting go of a lot of stuff. It's just like flotsam and jetsam, really stuff that you don't need to know what it is. Because the music itself that you carry within that pure soul essence is facilitating the detox, so to speak, the soul-mind detox, allowing you to let go of some of this residue, this stuff that's been stuck there for a long, long time. And I see you just moving into that vibration, becoming one with it. It's almost as if you're going, it's not comatose, but you're just going into almost like a trance, but it isn't a trance because you're perfectly conscious, but it's so beautiful. It's like it's carrying you to higher and higher levels. There's a freedom here. I want to activate divine freedom. There's a freedom here because you're finding within all that unlimited nature that you are, and you're not held back. You're not stuck. There is a tremendous amount of freedom, and I really feel to put in the evolutionary thrust energy so that it further facilitates your movement with the absolute exponential increase in energies that we have in the universe right now. Okay. Now, I just want to ask you, how do you feel? Are you feeling the music? Are you feeling the vibration? Are you sensing anything? And if you aren't, it's absolutely okay, because some of these things take practice. For years, I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah, music has, I'm not a musician, but I like to listen to music. For years, in my classrooms, I used to play I Have a Dream by Anna Makuri.
Wonderful.
And it's talking about your dream and fantasy and what is real. And that came to me when you were talking about music, because it's always been a song that has soothed me and also soothes children.
Nice.
So I used to play it every day in classroom before we started class, so we can get in tune to ourselves, so to speak.
Well, it's perfect because you have a dream. You want to become more connected to the self. Mm-hmm. And I want to do one last exercise, and that simply is I want you to imagine a beautiful beam of light coming through the top of your head. Now, the beam of light is coming from the very, very highest frequencies. It's being de-intensified down so that when it comes to you through the top of your head, it is at a frequency that you can absolutely 100% handle. It's not going to hurt or harm in any way. It's divine energy, and I want you to see it moving down. It's beautiful. I see it almost as a gold color or a bright yellow, and I want it to move down through your legs and down into the planet and anchoring itself in the pure soul essence of the planet Earth. Because yes, the Earth itself is a soul, and it has its own pure soul essence, and it carries this very powerful divine material balance energy. And so to anchor there, you're facilitating this beautiful energy, which is an energy that materializes from the abstract to the concrete. It can play out in finances, which most people might interpret it as that, but it also plays out with anything. So and always in a state of balance. So if you want to materialize your gifts and talents, you want to materialize good relationships, you want to materialize a career, you want to materialize connection to the self, it is going to help with that materializing. And so this light is like one of those poles you find in a subway. Or a bus, you hold on to the pole when you're standing up and you're wiggling around and bouncing around, and you hold it for your balance, and you hold on to it for your connection to the floor. And this beam of light, it's divine in nature, and it's kind of you can view it like that pole. It is going to help you connect to the totality of who you are. It's moving through the totality of who you are, and you're being anchored in the materializing energy of the divine material balance of the planet Earth. So that I hopefully will give you some foundation to the divine connection that you want and to the focus within. And with that, we're beginning to run out of time, so I do see some cocoon energy moving around you, and you're aware of what that is. It's going to help you. And I do see you continuing to work. The cocoon energy, as long as you're giving permission at the soul level, it will continue to work. The healing, the higher selves will continue, but they once you at the soul level take away your permission, and it only would be because enough had been done. Yeah, so you're doing fine, and
Thank you.
You can open your eyes when you're ready.
That's good. I did get a few tears.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah. When you were talking about a symbol, I seem to get a lot of purple and green, but this time I got a huge purple.
Nice.
It's like a big agate or something.
Nice.
That's what I got. But for some reason, when I try to do this, I get color.
Color is a great symbol. I use a symbol of color. I use a symbol of color myself for another part of ourselves, because I didn't do the totality, the amalgamation today. I just focused on the pure soul essence.
Right.
But I use color. As a matter of fact, this is a dark blue. You probably can't tell. My pants are blue. It's a dark blue with like sprinkles of
Stardust.
something.
Huh.
Anyway, I worked with that for weeks and weeks to really utilize that symbol and free myself up from my own limited belief systems about it. And now I just think of that symbol, and immediately it's as if my consciousness is past my physical body. I don't get the sense that that the body is keeping it in. It's just past it. And so working with that symbol of color, I think, is a great idea. You can use that.
Yeah. For some reason, that's been around me for a while. And at times when I go through sort of the healing for myself, or I tried healing at at one of the meetups, I always seem to get green for healing for some reason. You mentioned something about the gold coming through.
Well, everybody...
Is that grounding me?
Yeah, it's grounding you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's grounding you.
Yeah.
And it's also bringing all of you in a state of connection. So you can move in and just symbolically hold on to that or focus on it. And it's going to help you move into that frequency of the pure soul essence.
Would you say that the energy that's coming in is focusing on vortexes or our chakra regions and going through? Is that sort of, or don't you?
They could be. I don't know. I didn't get that specifically, but it certainly it could be. However you want to feel about it, you know, you can use it. I do use chakras a lot. Didn't happen to come up today.
Yeah.
But we're getting close to.
Okay.
So I want to thank you so much, Millie. Thank you so much. And next week I have a wonderful guest. His name is Preston.
Oh.
Yeah. But Millie, I want to now. Millie and her daughter Ro introduced me to Eddie Connor, whose show I was on, and I did want to mention that he's going to be on my show on August 23rd.
Yeah, he's our other favorite person.
And he has a show on UBN, and I was a guest on his show with Tony Sweet, which was great. And so he agreed to come on, and I'm looking forward to that. And I want to thank you for that introduction.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for it.
And I thank you for having me.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. And so I guess that's it, viewers. Until next week, I really am pleased to have you always.
You are watching T Radio V. Radio and TV.